I feel like my home is just another opportunity to play dress up. I really love to just layer up my home the way that I layer up all of my outfits. Today's home tour is sponsored by HomeAglow. HomeAglow is a 5-star house cleaning service with really affordable prices, and everything is booked online. I love HomeAglow because of their online booking capabilities. It makes it so easy for when I have a party or I'm in need of my home being clean. I have guests coming in town. I can hop online and book a cleaner. I also love that 100% of the fee goes to local cleaners in my community. To schedule a cleaning, it's so easy. You just go to the HomeAglow website and you pick your date and time that you're interested in, also the duration of the cleaning, and then they'll suggest the cleaners that are available for your time slot and your date. And you can read reviews, look at background checks, see photos from the cleaners, and then select the one that you would like to work with. Also, there is the option to have a Forever Clean membership so that you can regularly book your cleanings, and that saves you $30 an hour on future cleanings. And you can book regular cleanings starting at just $19 an hour with the HomeAglow Happiness Guarantee. This is such a big deal for me going into the new year. I always like to do a big refresh of my home. I take all of the Christmas decorations down and then I just do reorganizing, refreshing. I even go out and thrift a few new goodies for my home, and then I have HomeAglow come in and clean my house, and then it's just this final magic to the whole experience, and I feel so ready for the new year. I feel like my home feels good, and for me that's huge in terms of even just my creativity and being able to be productive, is to have my home feel good. Take home cleaning off your plate by using HomeAglow. All you need to do is go to homeaglow.com/bjones, or you can scan the QR code here on the screen and you'll get your first 3 hours for only $19. We moved into this house about 11 years ago now, and it's been really fun to just kind of watch the whole house develop over time. Originally, I fell in love with this house because it was a mid-century house. And the thing that caught my eye first and foremost was there is a central fireplace in the middle of the house. And I absolutely loved that. And I liked the overall open concept of the house. And so we purchased this home when my son was 1 year old. And so we've watched him and both my boys now grow up here. And it's been really fun to kind of develop my home interior style over the years, and I do think it kind of ebbs and flows with the time, but overall there is definitely a sense of a very similar color palette that I always love. I love a burnt orange and brown and creams and greens. I always think of myself almost as an eclectic grandma. Maybe though she's lived a glamorous life and now this is her house in the desert or something fabulous, but she has a history, and I guess I come up with characters for myself in my house the way that I do with my outfits. And it really is such a process because so much is found and discovered along the way over years in thrift stores and flea markets and travels. And so I'm always building, and I always think it could have more, more little things, more personality added. And definitely when we first moved in the house, it was probably a little more bohemian style. I've really developed this term called haute eclectic, probably in the last 5 years, that it's maximalist. There's an eclectic sense to it, but there's a little bit of haute glamour in the mix. There's golds and brass. I also love to play with juxtaposition in my home. I love my home to be a mix of every era. And I do often, when I'm looking and to find things, I'm looking for like a balance of everything. I want some things to feel very artful and interesting. I want some things to feel very maybe old and antique, and then I want something really modern. And so I'm just always looking to tell different stories and then put it all together. And that's to me when like the magic happens and the everything comes together. And it's been really fun in this new chapter of our home, doing an add-on of our home and creating more of a master suite that has been so much fun. And I'm excited to share all of those spaces and where my home is currently. Our entry is an area that I always feel like sets the tone for the rest of the house. And because we recently did a renovation, we used to have a door in our entry that went into our master bathroom, which I never loved. And so it was really fun to close off that door and make this more of an actual entry space. I've been having a lot of fun playing with wallpaper ever since our renovation, and I found this gorgeous wallpaper from Anthropologie. It's got a lot of the colors that I love. It's got really an interesting print, and I love a great print. And then really just our table is full of collections. I find most of these pieces in thrift stores around the world, maybe around the country. I had fun playing around with styling up the table this time, and I always kind of change it for the season, but right now it's a collection of just really interesting, beautiful pieces that I've found along the way. And I loved the idea of adding a mirror in here just to kind of give it some depth in the room. And it was also really fun to play around with having a wall space to work with. And so I just collected these interesting vintage art posters and have displayed them in a collage here at the entry. And I'm sure I'll keep changing this space as it goes, but right now I'm loving it. Our living room is a place that hasn't actually changed a lot. When we first moved in, I put in this gallery wall. It was a collection of art that I've found over the last 20 years and pretty much has stayed the same. And then I think about sometime last year, I rearranged and got some new furniture. We got a new couch, we got a few new chairs, and I wanted to make this space feel more of a conversational space, a really cozy place to gather with friends and our family. And so I love, it's not a big space, but I love setting up the chairs around the table and in a circle so that it really feels like a place that you want to sit for hours and talk and have coffee and just spend the evening together, the morning together. It's also where we, watch movies as a family. And again, once I really love something, I don't change it a lot. If anything, I just add on to it. I don't completely alter it. And so I have this great coffee table that I've layered with books. Some of these are just family photo albums. That's something I do every single year, is I make an album of our family, and my kids love to look at it. And then also just really great fashion and interior design books laying around. With the table here, it's underneath this piece that's probably one of my absolute favorites. It's a Picasso curtain that I turned into more of a wall hanging piece. And I found it at an antique store, and I absolutely love it. And I feel like it also really set the tone for some of the color scheme in the room. And I think this really speaks to how much I love to mix ideas together. I feel like Picasso has this really great kind of modern, whimsical sensibility about, his pieces. But then I love to add in something that feels maybe very antique and old, like a great vase or even some of the pottery that I have layering around. So I love to just play with all of those different ideas, and even choosing to get this vintage fireplace cover and just turn it into a piece of art that sits here on the table. It's just a fun way to play around with different ideas and not get stuck in what it's actually supposed to be used for. I also found these great shelves at a thrift store, and I loved the idea of adding just little tchotchkes on top of them. One of my favorite little ways that I played around with it was just adding candles into a pot and not necessarily using them as practical candles, but just more of a interesting pop there on the shelves. And overall, this is probably one of my favorite spaces in the home. I feel like it really reflects my personality in terms of the layering, the mixing of prints, cozy, whimsy, and it really feels like this is probably the heartbeat of our home is right here. And you will see that I've layered a lot of rugs, and I'll probably continue to do that. I love if I find a rug. Rugs are probably like outerwear for me. If I find a great rug, I'm gonna buy it. I might not always know where it's gonna go, but I'm going to grab it when I can. And so as you'll see, I just have them stacked around my house in lots of different ways. It's been really fun because our kitchen used to be very small and lots of walls involved, but we did a renovation a few years ago, I think back in 2019, and really we were able to open up this whole space. And I chose to go with something kind of classic, but still also that reflected my personal style in terms of I kept the theme of black, white, and brass, which is in a lot of my home. My home is covered in walls of just half black and white, and I know I like it. And so I felt like I wanted it to feel like a canvas that a painter could paint on. I didn't want to go crazy with a specific over-the-top style because I felt like, what if I don't like it in 5 years? And so we went with, interesting details like scalloped tile on the backsplash and pops of brass, and made an interesting oven hood. And I feel like all of those things feel timeless to me. They feel like me and something that's really carried through probably most of my homes. And so I knew that I would like that. And then I can add on top of it. And so I'm actually still in the process of my kitchen. I feel like I'm always looking to add more personality to it. And that's something even that I want to work on more this year, is just finding extra little details that I can zhuzh and play within my kitchen. But overall, I've added more greenery and plants, and I've added a few more fun pieces of art in here. But I really do just love the open concept of the kitchen. And this is the place that we do gather around this counter, and sometimes we eat around it, and also have friends, and I can, be kind of cooking, and then everyone can kind of be hanging out together. And it's where our soul is fed. One of our quirky little details is that we collect magnets from all the places that we go. And so our fridge is slowly filling up to some different states and places that we've visited over the last few years. Something that's been really fun that I've had a great time playing with is I found this amazing vase at a thrift store, and I love to just forage in my own yard or on the side of the road if I can, and just clip little parts of trees and bushes and just stick them in this pot, especially when we're having people over. I love to do that over the holidays. I even, added more ornaments and bows and things like that to the different plants that I foraged and put in here. But I just think it adds a little drama to the room, and I love that it lifts up the counter and it feels like you notice the higher ceilings and your eye catches that, and it just is that final little dash of magic. Our dining room is special to me because, well, one, I love to eat and sit around a table with friends and family, but also the selling point for this house was this open concept of the fireplace. And I love that we have this fireplace in our dining room that also is in our living room. And to me, that's just pure magic, that I can turn on a fire during a dinner party and just really, it keeps the whole room feeling really open and just such a great gathering space. And everything is not perfect for one and found in this room. This table has some little imperfections to it, but it was a really fun Facebook Marketplace find that was very interesting to get because it was so heavy. And my husband and I had a doozy of a time actually getting it and then getting it in our house, but we made it and it's beautiful. And then I found these amazing dining room chairs with a net at the Rose Bowl flea market. Definitely could use a good recovering, but for now we're sticking with it. And really just have covered the walls with some huge, beautiful art that I found at a thrift store so many years ago. And then just created this little corner here in the dining room that feels like a good little sitting area, a little sun gathering space. My dog often loves to sit on the chair and soak up the sun here. But this is where, we're in and out of our backyard from here, and this is where a lot of life happens around our table. Our bedroom brings me so much joy. I never loved this whole area of our house for the first 11 years that we lived here. And finally, we did a huge renovation, added on, and really created my dream space. And I didn't even know that it would feel the way it feels. And I keep commenting that I feel like I have a little apartment in Paris, and this is like my private pied-a-terre here, but it's been so much fun. We opened up this room because we removed the closet and pushed out to create a bigger bathroom and closet. So the whole room itself got a lot bigger. We added some windows to bring in more natural light, because that was one thing. This room always felt really dark to me. And then it's been so much fun to style it up. And I went with this color scheme of a little bit more of a cappuccino-y, not full chocolate brown, but a brown and white. I do a lot of half wall within our home because we do have low ceilings. And so I feel like that kind of makes it feel bigger and brighter. And I really fell in love with this color scheme from my bedding, which is Piglet in bed. And I just loved those kind of peachy tones, and that definitely carries throughout a lot of my house. And that then led to me doing more playing with this color palette of white and brown and orange and peach and a little bit of pops of blue here and there. And I knew I wanted an amazing piece above my bed, and really imagined some kind of wall hanging covering something, and was digging around in an antique store and found this patchwork piece that someone had made. It looks like it's a bunch of scraps of fabric that someone just stuck together, and I love it. It's full of personality, and there's so many textures and colors within it. And so really every single piece is just built on itself here in the room, and more layering happening. I did a jute rug and then layered over a beautiful piece that I picked up from the Long Beach flea market. And funny little story, this little couch that we have, we got during a hurricane. That's right. There was a hurricane here in California, which never happens. And it really was just a big rainstorm. But I found this incredible piece on Facebook Marketplace, and my husband weathered the hurricane and went and picked it up from the lady, and it's absolutely perfect. And it's turned into my little workspace here. I love that I can work from home, but it feels like I have a little office, but it doesn't feel like it encroaches on my bedroom. It all feels connected. And something that I wanted was a great shelving space that would function for work, but also be full of inspiration. And so I had my contractor actually build this piece for me. And it feels like something you would see in a New York loft apartment. And I loved even just mismatching how the shelves went. And then I've just been adding a lot of my favorite fashion inspiration books so that I can always be soaking up new inspiration and looking at old archives from runways. And I love collecting those. And so I will continue to add to them, but it's just fun to always have that there whenever I'm sitting at my desk and working here. Our bathroom is definitely a long time coming. This was the worst place in our entire house, and it had no natural light, no windows. And so it was so much fun to really open up this space, create a bigger bathroom. And we did go a little crazy with design in bringing in lots of different prints and textures to the room. And I absolutely love it. We pushed out into our yard and added on. And so our bathroom was able to become a little bit bigger. And it does have really low ceilings, but it was really fun to kind of expand with the add-on and go higher with the ceilings, and it made it really open up. And even though the bathroom still has lower ceilings here in this part, it actually feels more like it's supposed to be this way. And I have really loved playing around with some of the design features, like choosing this wallpaper and then choosing the terrazzo tile flooring, and then going with a little bit of checkerboard in our tiling within our shower and in the rest of the bathroom. So there's a lot of print happening in here, and I loved the color scheme too of black and white and green, and then playing with a little bit of the gold and the kind of burnt orange that follows me throughout my whole life, I feel like. And, just picked some interesting elements to add to the bathroom. One of my favorite pieces was this gorgeous leaf light that I wanted to have here at my vanity. I felt like that was such a central piece and really helped me to kind of know what to do with the rest of the bathroom design. It was like almost like the jumping off place came from this light. And then even just our little toilet area, our little toilet closet feels like a fun little space that you go in, filled with art of faces, and I'm still working on adding more in there. And then just I don't know, it's like a private little place full of personality. And it's also become so much fun to sit here at my vanity and get ready every morning. It feels really inspiring. I love to always see some natural light coming in, and I can see the sky whenever I'm showering. And I love the whole experience of getting ready in this space. Welcome to the dress-up closet. I was actually just thinking about this the other night, that I really truly feel like I created a dress-up closet, not just a closet, but a place that feels magical, where creativity is supposed to happen. It feels this private area that I get to just experiment and play and dance and cry and laugh and all the things. And I love it. It feels so, I feel like in a way, like the dreams coming true for me of that idea of a dress-up closet. It's like what a 4-year-old would want to have, and I'm having it at 43. But it was really fun to design this space and really think through, what do I want my closet to feel like? And I love that it is kind of this long galley style. It does feel like Sarah Jessica Parker, Carrie Bradshaw's closet in that way. And I had so much fun just picking out some of the details with the terrazzo flooring coming into this space, and then finding this beautiful antique chandelier that I got at an antique store in Orange, and then even just adding some of the warmth to the room with this rug that I also got at the Long Beach Antique Market. And I even recently picked up a mannequin. I'm having fun with the idea of just styling mannequins and getting outside of myself with that, and really just playing with the creativity of creating instead of just on myself. And so really this space has become a place to experiment and create. And it really does feel like this hub of everything that I do with Beach Own Style. And I absolutely love it in here. And it also is really fun to have everything have a place and feel organized. And it's just the ultimate dress-up closet. I wish everyone could come hang out with me in my closet, because it does feel like a magic space that needs to be played in by other people and myself. But yeah, this has been one of my highlights probably of 2023, was creating the space and seeing it come to life. And I definitely beat to the drum that everything's always in process and nothing's perfect. This is a very lived-in home, and most things are covered in stains and not perfect, but to me, that's the heart and the fun of a home lived in and loved. And I want every space in my home to feel full of personality and fun and whimsy, but also really cozy. And I want it to feel like a space where when people come in, they feel warmth. And so that's always definitely a goal with my interior design.